This is Margaret in Windsor. And let me say this right off. I didn't find out about my kidnapping until late 1983 when I was flown out to Larry Flint's in a political campaign to replace Congressman Dr. Larry McDonald, whose plane had been shot down by the Soviets when it veered into their airspace August the 31st of 83. I'd written about mind control murders, and I want to put this in here now. First of all, I have been so maligned, and then I find out my father was, before me, a total lie about him. I found out about my real name in 83, and I wrote about mind control murders, programming to murder, modified behavior, and Larry Flint was shot while I was doing the book Marietta, and he was shot in Lawrenceville. The person that shot him was programmed to shoot him and kill his attorney. He endorsed me in 84, and he knew all about me when I was taken. I knew he had been shot, and it was done in patterns. And I had antifreeze, by the way, put in me April the 1st of 80. No one's ever paid for one. That was April Fool joke. No one's ever been held accountable except me. I've been tortured on, and it relates, I found out, not just to the book I wrote and the names in it and what they were using, but to my being kidnapped in 41 and brought to Moulton, Alabama, given the name of a twin. Now then, this doctor, there was a seal put on it. This is where some of the patterns I'm talking about go back to. He was supposed to be under investigation when I got a letter from the U.S. Attorney's Office, July the 23rd of 79. Then the antifreeze put in me April the 1st, April Fool Day of 80. And what happened just in that episode, I should have died. If they ever show it, that's enough to tear down everything. It's so sick and vile. I ended up being taken across the state line, of all things, in the condition I was in, illegally, working for Fred Simpson, the district attorney in Huntsville, Madison County DA. And I was living at Warren House. And there's a point to me saying Warren House and Simpson, etc. But this man, I tried to sue, and he had told me he had killed, it was a threat, that he had killed Cindy, and I saw her come out of his office. He was at Northside then. I've seen a lot that was done. I went in on him after hours, and he was on the floor with the daughter, Kathy, of his professor at in New Orleans. What's the University of Louisiana? But anyway, his professor of psychology or psychiatry, I don't know, psychology, I think. This is his daughter that this man who was a mentor to him sent up there to work. And with him, he was having sex on the floor. She's working in all his therapy, so-called therapy groups. He's a child psychiatrist, by the way. And he was diagnosed by Kenneth Dunn, I believe that was, Reagan, R-E-G-A-N. He is out of Marietta. The only doctor that would go up against him as a psychopath. And Dr. Reagan was the one that wrote documents and everything against Gonzalez. My attorney was Eugene Kaiser, I may have said that, former DA, Fulton County, Atlanta, Georgia. And it gets into hideous things that were covered up, like the murders at Piedmont Hospital. Gene Kaiser, Dr. Warren and Rosina Matthews were gunned down in Terrell Mill Estates in Marietta. They knew too much about programming. By the way, one of the people that testified, it was later overturned, she was under hypnosis. So what I've done is try to tell about rape and murder, and he is still in practice. And, it's telling about giving reviews. My God, he has done nothing but live good, and I think his son is his senior. I know he had a son, so I would have to think his son might be a psychiatrist there. I don't know. Anyway, there was a seal put on the to cover it up because the suit there against Gonzalez. And none of this, if the law had worked for me, tell us about your experience with Dr. Victor R. Gonzalez Sr., MD. Well, I'm going to go to Bill Cosby. I don't know. I know that Ennis Cosby was killed in all this, the mind control, and I've tried to put that on other murders done in patterns. So I don't know if it goes back to they modify your behavior and that Bill Cosby may have been programmed. I don't know to commit the acts he did. I do know that this man, what he did, it was covered up, and there's been so much done to me and my sons, I don't even know if they're alive. And I would like it laid out in court once and for all, in a court that's not controlled by the people that kidnapped me, where the media is forced to cover it because the media is controlled by the Freemasons, Illuminati. All you have to do, people like to pretend it's not happening, and yet they know it is. They believe it. It's like kill the messenger me and we'll be okay. Well, you just wouldn't know about it. So I'm going to leave it at that. At this point, I've had so much done to me, and to look at this now, when I Google, this man is still in practice as far as I know, according to this, lived a good life and probably renowned because they let the crimes go on happening there. And that's where some of the mind control, where it was pieced together. I knew that murders were happening and they were done in patterns. I couldn't relate it to mind control. I didn't know anything about it until I worked for Forsyth, Kuchar, and McCoy, a group at Northside Hospital. I was bookkeeper, fill-in secretary, receptionist, and Dr. Forsyth did his cardiovascular, and I was later shown where he put a chip in head of a corporation, Dixon, and could control his decision-making without his knowledge. They can put chips in you, root canal, all that. They don't even need that now. It's so advanced since then. I want to put this in now, how law enforcement has helped do this to me, and is to get things on people. Everybody has something to hide. Dr. Forsyth, I got a letter of recommendation. I'd worked there a year from them. I was doing the book, and they knew it. And Denise was a receptionist for booking appointments for Dr. Forsyth. And I was never friends of hers other than say hi and like that at work. And she called me, which was odd, I thought, when so much was happening. I was doing the book at living at Moonraker Apartments in Marietta, and that's when Larry Flint was shot, right after then, I believe, yeah. Anyway, Denise called me, and I thought, what's she calling me for? She sat there, somebody had told her to do it, and this goes on, it's a thread and link through it all. They get something on people, the kids, they compromise them. They don't have to do it. The people don't have to commit the law because the law told them to, and I'm getting the hell beat out of me because it won't go before a court of law with me. They feel safe. But anyway, Denise told me this. She said she was moving, her and her husband, out of state to Louisiana, and she was just going to say bye. And she told me that she had used Dr. Forsyth's pharmaceutical number or his MD number for prescriptions, and she had called in and okayed drugs, and I don't know the ins and outs and don't remember all she told me, how it's done, but that was part of getting their participation and Denise's participation in all this. And she had to have been told to call me. Why else would she have called? But I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to get off. I look at this, and this man here is just one of them that has gotten away with murder and torture using not just MD, but psychiatry and mind control and hypnosis to rape, kill. I'm going to mention, and I hope she doesn't mind it, Peggy Ferguson, Lauderdale. She came to me right after Kennedy was shot. She came to me and she said to me, Hyman Miller, psychiatrist, Jew, in Huntsville. There's very few doctors there then. It had flourished so much. I had in